what do you think the value of a HBCU could represent to a student? And anything that you want to like mention that could, inform a student like, hey, I should might maybe include a HBCU on my list of selections.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great question, man. I think culture.
Okay.
I think for me, I graduated from HBCU, but I didn't know I was attending the HBCU until I actually got there. So I didn't
Okay.
know between the colleges, man. But I did sense something was different though.
Hello, I want to welcome you all to season 4. Let me say this again, y'all. Season 4 of How to Play the Game of College, y'all. When I say I look forward to each season, but y'all, it's something about this season. I'm just super excited. Season 4, we got great guests, we got some great conversations. And so, with that being said, I'm super, super excited to welcome a friend of mine, colleague, Mr. Macklin Gibson. He's the executive director of the university program in Mississippi Valley. And I'm going to pause for a second. Number one, to welcome you to the podcast, my guy. And let us just hear a high level overview of your work at Mississippi Valley. Welcome.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. For everyone, my name is Macklin Gibson. I go by Mac. From Memphis, Tennessee. I serve as the executive director for University College at Mississippi Valley State. And what we do here under University College, all of our first and second year students are under the umbrella of University College. So we serve as a hub for support, meaning like services such as academic advising, first and second year experience, retention and student success, accessibility services, veteran student services. We also have what we call our quality enhancement plan, which is the
Okay.
QEP, University College. So all of these support services to help students stay in school, we're responsible for it. So I have the
Got you.
awesome pleasure of overseeing all of that. And a college
Man.
trio program as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, man, I'm like making a list of like the many different hats that you wear. And I know I'm in a higher education setting. That's so important, man, to make sure number one, students are onboarded correctly. But when they get there, it's our job as higher ed professionals to make sure that we keep them there. So, man, you're doing some really, really great work. I've had a great opportunity to partner with you in the past at Mississippi Valley. So just again, super excited to have you on the podcast. Man, the question I want to kick off today is if we look at incoming students, right? I know that's a big part of your role at Mississippi Valley. If you can give students let me say that again, one superpower, what would that superpower be and why?
Man, a superpower. Okay. I won't say this a superpower, but in my book, I think I would say self-esteem.
Okay.
Reason why I say that, a freshman's coming in, I think one of the biggest challenge, some people think it's gonna be, classes and your structure. It's gonna be you.
Right.
Navigate the space, how you approach every day when challenges come, because it's not always going to be peaches and cream, not always going to be easy. It's always going to be some type of challenge, whether it's a vessel or a course or whatever. Sometimes just most of it is going to be within. It's not going to
Right.
be
So true.
up and all of that stuff that your parents would do once you were at home. So it's having the strong self-esteem to be able to
Mm. Mhm.
self, believe that you can handle things in college.
Okay.
And I think that ultimately leads to motivation, self motivation. So you're able to handle yourself a little better because it's also, sometimes people think, you come to school and, you meet different people and things like
Right.
you don't see something you may not even agree with sometimes, so
True.
knowing how to handle yourself when not only just positive peer pressure, but sometimes negative peer pressure because you experience that as well. So having the self-esteem to know, okay, this is my path, this is my journey. I have to stay focused on me. I think that's what I would give to a young freshman coming in. As a
Man, yes, I couldn't agree more. You said so much in that first question. Again, I love how you kind of talked about your work, right? And different resources that you offer on your college campus for students, incoming students, and of course, current students, right? But it all goes back to you. I love how you said, we can have all of this laid out for you, but if you don't really take advantage and really like dig deep within, because, I tell students, of course, I get a chance, the great opportunity, to travel to many different colleges. And, of course, the book is out there, right? But if you don't read the book, man, if you don't self advocate for yourself, it really all goes back to you. So I love how you call that out. And I think that's something, especially our students that are in high school that's getting ready for college, really learn how to really advocate and really have their self-esteem intact before you get to college, man, could be a game changer.
I
So
agree with
true.
that.
So true. The next question I want to ask you, I know in the book we talk about students how to select the right college. And man, I'm going through that now. And my son Caleb is just started his junior year in high school and he just got back from a summer program. And every day he's asking about different colleges. Man, he got a chance to see Yale. We did an HBCU tour last year. He loved Xavier. It changes every day, Macklin, literally. What advice would you give to a student, that might be looking at an HBCU? What do you think the value of a HBCU could represent to a student? And anything that you want to like mention that could, inform a student like, hey, I should might maybe include a HBCU on my list of selections.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great question, man. The one I think culture.
Okay.
I think for me, I graduated from HBCU, but I didn't know I was attending the HBCU until I actually got there. So I didn't
Okay.
know
Oh,
between the colleges, man. But I did sense something was different though.
yeah.
Um, what I mean by that was a sense of pride that was then taking place. So I say when you attend the HBCU, it teach you about pride, teach you about culture, heritage, tradition,
Okay.
things of those nature, I think help shape the character of a student.
Okay.
Also teach you, not only just to advocate for yourself, but advocate for your brother or sister.
Mm, mhm.
Same type of experiences. When you take all of that in, it creates a better experience when you actually graduate and then give you a sense of humility to want to give back and reach back and help those, come along. Because as you kind of go through the years as an HBCU student, you learn about, different stories of history and how these schools were built and why
Right.
struggles and all of that kind of stuff that kind of took
Mm,
place to get these schools to where they are. And also, you kinda see some of that as you kinda go through
yeah.
everyday life as a student, so, yeah, that's
Gotcha.
my take on it.
Okay, yeah, man. And again, I tell students, in my book, you have to really get the correct college fit. There's so many different types of colleges from our HBCUs, you got community colleges, you got technical institutions. There's just so many. So I suggest students, maybe taking college tours, right? I know many colleges do preview days, talk to alum of that college. And the main thing is making sure that if you're thinking about a major, right? That college is pretty much known for that space. And so again, I think it goes back to college fit. That's really going to be the foundation that's going to really set you up for success when you're looking at attending a college, but more importantly, graduating from a college. So very, very important.
I agree.
Yeah. So as we think about, in 2025, right, students have so many different options that I'm not aging myself, Macklin, but that we did, you just knew parents were like, you're going to graduate from high school, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a job, right? That was just kind of the playbook back in the day. Now we have students that are doing content creation, they are traveling, and taking a gap year, whatever the case may be, right? And a lot of students and just society, I should say, they're questioning the value of education. If you have a student that's in high school and, we're talking about college types, but we talking about the other 50% that's like, I don't even know if I want to go to college, if college is for me. What would you say to that student about the value of education?
Well, I think one I tell the student, from my experience and what I've learned is, and people have different opinions on it.
Yeah.
Say from my point of view on how I see it, I know for me, getting my degree was just the icing on the cake.
Okay.
Just like on, like a meal. You got the dessert and you got the icing.
Yeah.
So my degree was the dessert. My
Okay.
experience was the meal, was the onion.
Mm, man,
And
I
what
love that.
like there is, young 18, 19-year-old, graduating, you ready to go to college, you don't know a lot of things about the world and you're curious.
Mm, mhm.
Uh, I think going to college, you among other people who's the same way.
Right.
It come in at is to where you getting a chance to network and connect with different people of all walks of life that's
Mhm.
part of your overall growth and development as a person.
Mm, mhm, mhm.
A lot of things are birthed from that, your
Right.
your friendship, you know,
Mhm.
like I met my wife in college, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
wow. Yes, yes.
All those types of things that come up and 10 to 15 years later, you look back like, wow, that was my experience,
Right.
fraternities, and I don't think a lot of times people paint it their way. It's always, yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
you go to college, you go out and get a good job and boom, but we really don't talk about who you evolve into,
So true.
which I think plays a critical role in how you get the type of job that you want to have.
Mhm, mhm.
Get the job, yeah, you can have a degree, but do you got the character to do the job?
Man, so true. Yeah.
All of that comes from your experience, I think in college. You know,
Mhm, mhm.
you don't have a lot of money in college, so the struggle meal,
Man, say that again.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
that teaches you later on in life how to manage your money and all of those life skills that I don't think get highlighted enough on the front end when it
So
comes to
true.
come in. So
Right.
it's more about the experience than it is the degree. Now I think they both equally important.
Yeah, yeah.
The experience I think is what helped take you farther in life and what helped you set your goals and how far you can go down the line. I would
So
really
true. So true. Man, I couldn't agree more. I love how you're saying, I think, like you said, a lot of people think of college as just a degree, but it's to me, the degree, and I agree with you, it's like, it's 50% of it, right? It's a degree, but it's the other 50% that you're learning the soft skills, as you just mentioned, how to deal with people, a lot of times you involved in different student organizations. So you're learning how to, I was the president of my fraternity, man. I learned how to do a budget and how to put on a program, and so many things that you learn. So when you get out of college, I got the degree, but I learned all these things kind of outside of the classroom that really put me ahead of so many other people. So, I love to tell students, it's not just about, going to college, it's about actually, going in quotes, going to college, man, really getting a total experience and really it's going to prepare you and put you yards ahead of your other colleagues, man, when we talk about getting a job and interviewing skills. And when you get the job, you got to know how to work with people. you know, Even at this age, man, part of my work is going in to build teams and I'm working with 50-year-olds that don't know how to talk to the team member next to them, right? And so some of those things, some of those soft skills, man, you learn in college, right? Yep. So true.
I think sometimes, young like that, it can be, and I get it, it can be scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Mindset shift differently. But my advice to young people, man, even though it's scary, do it anyway. Cause
Man, man.
it's gonna come with some growth, a lot of opportunities, man.
Mhm, mhm.
You would get going to college that I don't think you wouldn't get if you did not though.
So true.
Cause you just never, cause your opportunities are through people. So the more people you're around and the more you exposed to, the more opportunities and more other things that you wouldn't even think of will come into play. So
Man, that's a major nugget you just dropped, man. We all have fear, right? But it's that person that just say, hey, I'm gonna put it to the side and move forward, right? Because I think the life that none of us want is a life of regret. And it's always, I would always say, like, I'm at least tried, right? Compared to if I didn't try, you always to me wondering, honestly, till you die, man, like, what if I could have done this, right? But if you tried it and it didn't work, hey, I tried it. Oh man, so you said a lot right there. I really appreciate that. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, man. So I guess when we think about, of course, we just got through talking about, the whole college experience, right? And getting to college, man. And like you said, self-esteem and advocating for yourself, the value of college. When folks get or students get to college, and I know you deal a lot with incoming students, what's maybe the number one or two things that you see that, they get students and maybe cause them to drop out? Like, what are some of those common things that you've seen in your role that you're like, man, if students could avoid this, they'll be here the next semester, the next year, the third year, the fourth year, graduation. What's that one thing, one or two things?
I say discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an advocate for, I tell students all the time, I enjoyed myself when I went to school.
Yeah, yeah.
I hung out, I did it all, but I made sure I got the work done. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about if I hung out, went to a party or something.
Yeah, You
4 hours in class at 8 o'clock,
so true. So true.
I understood, why I was there,
Right. Mhm.
having discipline, with getting up in the morning, picking type of friends to be around, doing the homework when I didn't feel like doing it, just having the discipline and the understanding of why am I here.
So
So
true.
so I'd say, a lot of students I did is discipline. They don't make the decision to do what they supposed to do. Like the number one factor probably be, dropping out because of grade, you know.
Right. Uh-huh.
And, it starts small, homework assignment due at 11:59 on Thursday,
Mhm. Mhm.
take the time to do the homework before 11:59 on Thursday. That's
So
what
true.
they do. And I see a lot of students, instead of just having the discipline to do that, you want to, put it off or wait, later on or something like that. And then before you know it, all the work piling up on you and you in too deep. So
So
just
true. Yeah.
self-discipline to make the hard decision early on, to get it done, and then you play and have a good time. But
Man.
my
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
on this all the time. Just have good discipline. Understand why you're here. Have fun. Get your experience in, but at the same time, understand that this is not free.
Say it again.
Take of the money that
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying. Whether it's through financial aid or
Yeah.
whatever, however you pay, that's money. This is an investment that you
Mhm. Mhm.
and that you gotta make this decision every day to make sure.
Right. Man, and I love how you said you have to make the decision every day. Like you and I think that's a life lesson, man. We both, I know we're friends outside of this and follow each other on social media. And I could see Macklin, and I know you're working on a doctorate degree, man, and you're a husband, you're a father, a professional in higher ed. So, I tell students if you learn those skills early in life, right, it's gonna go with you throughout life, right? And so even when you're out of school, my son actually just got back from a 6-week program this summer. He got back the night before school started. And he was like, Dad, can I miss school tomorrow? I was like, no, no, no. It's not how that works. It's
Right.
anytime, and I try to be the example, right? Where he sees dad all around the country, and I get back and I don't say, can I sleep in and not take you to school?
And, you gotta make it.
Okay. Y'all gotta eat, you got a whole operation going on here at home. And so, if you learn those skills, and again, that's a part of being in college, you learn how to navigate, sacrifice, man, and just grind. I think that's one of the major things, man. It's not sometimes how much you know, it's how much you are willing to put in the grind mentality, man, to get it done. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna get it done, man. So yeah.
I tell time, it don't make sense for you to celebrate and you ain't done nothing.
Man, say that again.
Done,
Yes. Yeah.
So you wanna make sure that's when you go out and celebrate and hang out and do all that because you had a good week of school, you went to all your classes, you did your work.
Mhm.
That's when you celebrate. It don't make sense for you to be in there having a good time, strolling and all of this.
Right.
You ain't turning no work. You know what I'm
So
saying?
true. So true. So true, man. I know we're coming to the end, Macklin. This has been great, man. I just got one more quick question. I opened up my book. My first chapter in my book is called Ask for Help. And I guess in my time, man, almost 22 years, man, you see the gray hair, of being in higher ed, right? The number one thing I always hear is like, Dr. Boyd, I don't know how to talk to my professor, or, I don't even really know how to ask for help. They don't know my name. I'm in this big class. I may feel like I'm stupid if I ask a question. What's your advice of like, especially an incoming student that might be a first gen student? They never done this college thing. This is totally new for them. What advice would you get a student of simply how to ask for help?
Man, that's a good question, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Myself. So
Yeah.
I can relate, to your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have kind of give this advice to me back
Mm.
when I'm about to say right now.
Okay.
Man, for anybody, that sees this, they should know that professors are human just like you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a simple hello, how you doing? Man, I talk to you out of class. I need help with this.
Right.
Whether it's through an email, whether it's just approaching them. Because at the end of the day, what incoming students must understand, you are paying the professor to teach you. You're paying them for a service. So any question that you want to ask them, you have the right to ask them because
Mm.
serving. So it's
Right.
question or it's no bad question to get help any kind of way. So
Mhm, mhm.
or go up to them and ask, or it's through an email. Either way is fine, but it's just a simple conversation, just as you have a conversation with your friend.
So
That's my
true. So true. No, that's and it's so funny, Mac, like how you said, it's really simple. I tell folks all the time, I think we sometimes in our head we create, like you said, these professors, they're like statues and you can't touch them and they got ropes around them, they're delicate, But like you said, hey, they're human just like you are. And most honestly, and I know definitely speaking for you, I can say this. Most folks who work on a college campus are passionate about students and they want to help. I know we worked at some previous institutions together. My office stayed. I tell people like if I'm at work, I'm not really working because students are always coming in and they asking questions. They need help. They need advice. I might work from like the evening, 3 to 6, to really get some work done because you're busy. Your main job is to help students. And so I like how you said, man, just go to them. They're human, introduce yourself. And even if it's not a professor, right, Macklin, it could be you on the college campus, right? The executive director, where they met at orientation, that, hey, you come to me, man, I might not know all the answers, but I can get you to the right place. So maybe even just finding that person that you relate with a lot and go to that person for that advice. And I'm sure they'll get you to the right person.
yeah,
So
I
true.
agree. I
So
agree.
true.
'Cause
Man, yeah.
they was once, a student as well. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
very
Exactly.
get those home.
So true, so true. Macklin, we are at the end, man. When I say this has been a very informative interview, and I know it's going to help so many students and parents that are watching this particular podcast. As we close out, man, I love how you've been so transparent throughout. But one of the last questions I want to ask you is as you look at your life today, man, and I want to say, brother, I'm proud of you, man. I see the work that you're doing, the day to day, and really the passion you have for students. But there was once a younger, right? A younger Macklin that we've been kind of talking about a little bit throughout this podcast. If you could look back, man, to your, 18-year-old self, I want you to really think about this, man. If you could look back to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give to the younger Macklin? Any life advice, man?
Be open to
Okay.
new experiences. Um,
Man,
you know,
yes.
I say that because, coming from, a very single parent home and
Mm, hmm.
so a lot of I didn't get a chance. The whole college thing, that wasn't just really a thought of. I just was open to hearing about that through just other friends I may have had or through their family members and
Right.
being around. I eventually was open to listen to what they had to say.
Okay. Okay.
On a route to say, okay, I can go to college. This what this mean, this what that mean. But I was open though. Even
Hmm,
though
hmm.
something out the norm that was not normal for me,
Yeah, yeah.
listen to it, even though it was different. So I say that, to my younger self, be open to new experiences because what happens is you evolve and
Mhm, mhm.
with once you evolve, you are stretched in a lot of ways to where you start to see things you never think you'll see before.
Man, yeah.
Being in this seat, man, and as I actually wrote my on my dissertation, I was writing my acknowledgement, man. I didn't realize how long it was, but
Yeah,
a lot of the people I was thanking because of, they introduced experiences to me that I didn't think I would have coming from my circumstances. So
yeah, yeah.
and just be open to new experiences. Even someone, even young people, that's watch this. Someone come to you and they give you tell you about it, something that you never heard of it. Don't be too quick to tune them out. Be
So
open
true, yes.
the door to open up to something else.
Mhm, mhm. Man, Macklin, I can just drop the mic, literally, right? Uh, no, man, I think when I say that's some excellent advice, like you said, just be open. I think, especially if you don't, young folks, if it's not familiar or, if it's not comfortable, we often push those things away, right? But it's to me, where the places that are the most uncomfortable or the most unfamiliar where we find the biggest blessings, man. And so I'm glad that you said, like, hey, I'm out of my comfort zone. And man, you're a true testimony. Like you said, college was kind of new to you, first gen, you tried it. And now, man, years later, you're working at higher ed, number one. But man, you're about to be Dr. Gibson soon, man. And probably when this interview airs, you probably will be. And so, man, again, super excited, man. I appreciate the friendship, the partnership, man, in Mississippi Valley. Definitely love working with your students there. And I was looking at your bookcase, man. I should see a book of how to play the game, a copy of how to play the game of college behind there. It's probably in your car. And so, but I know you
Yeah.
got a copy, man. And so, yes, yes, yes. So I want to just tell our listeners who are listening to season 4, make sure you get a copy of that book, How to Play the Game of College, on Amazon. You can visit my website. And Mr. Gibson, we'll definitely post your contact information if you don't mind. I always like to extend to students if they have questions about Mississippi Valley or just your journey that definitely want you to feel free to reach out. So thank you for your time today. Thank you to our listeners. We're going to have another great interview next week on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in. And Macklin, do you have any last minute things to say?
Yeah, I wanna, man, give you your flowers, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Man, I think, I watch I've known you for quite some time, man, and just see we had conversation,
Yeah, yeah.
where you are and see the work that you're doing, grind, man. I admire, I look up to it. Oh, man, anything I can do to continue to support you, man, Imma do it. I got you.
Man, man. Don't make a brother cry on the interview, man. I appreciate you, my guy. I really do, man. Yes, thank you for taking the time out. And again, man, looking forward to connecting with you and your students soon. Thank you.